531 PI.
23 minutes to 8 with Brian on Pacific Breakfast, Monday, the 27th of November. Joining me now for week 6 and our final week of the Home Ownership Pathway Bootcamp is Andrew Lovell, Managing Director of Home Ownership Pathway. We're also joined this morning by Fraser Watene from Kaitiaki Insurance Brokers. Fraser's been in the insurance industry for over 10 years, working for large corporate insurance companies in New Zealand and overseas. He now runs an insurance brokerage where he uses his experience of the insurance industry to provide advice to clients about the types of insurance and cover need. This morning, we're looking at all things insurance, well, you know, with a special focus on general and content. And on that note, a very warm welcome to the show this morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Excellent. Malole.
Good, thank you.
Good. And Andrew, we need to ask you the question, how are you doing after the game on Saturday? Because were you there?
Yeah, I've still got my flag, so...
Wow. Oh,
we're still here, mate. We're still here.
If only we had some insurance in the form of a neutral rest. Anywho, let's move on to... Okay, we're moving on. So we're talking about content, insurance, as well as general insurance. Can we start with you, firstly, Fraser? With regards to the role that you do as a broker and the reason, you know, to deal with a broker as opposed to maybe dealing directly with insurance companies, please.
Yeah, sure. Look, I guess the main purpose of dealing with a broker is just that advice piece, and they make sure that they get all the right covers for you that also fit your budget. But most of the advice that they actually give you is actually backed by their professional indemnity as well. When you go direct, you don't get that. So that person is right there for you to do everything that they need to do with the insurance company. They also help you through the process. So sometimes it can be quite daunting, especially when they give you all the paperwork. And that's the part that they try and reduce for you.
So when we're looking at insurance, Fraser, can we, you know, what are the main types of insurance when we're looking at house, you know, purchasing a house and maybe sort of, you know, what are the main things to look for? Yep.
So if you're going to, so when you're buying your home and that, you need to consider whether you've got the right level of insurance for your property, and that's the general house insurance. And I think the main part of it, which Andrew and I were discussing before, is making sure that you're not underinsured, because that's where people get caught out quite a lot.
When you say underinsured, so you know, I have no idea. So it's great to have professionals here. When you're saying underinsured, is say like, for example, what a house is valued at maybe 700,000, and you only insure it for like 500,000, or no?
Something like that. I mean, you can buy a house for 700,000, but the actual house itself, being the chattels, being the roof and everything like that, it could be probably only like 350,000 to rebuild that house, but you'll need to get that part correct. And that's the sum insured that we try and look at to make sure that if there's an event, say Rangisoto explodes and causes a little bit of a volcanic eruption and there's a bit of an earthquake, you want to make sure that you've got the right cover there to reinstate your property.
Okay. Well, I'm still a little bit... Okay, so when we're looking at insurance, just like for the home insurance, we're only looking at what it would cost, say, in the event of a fire or earthquake or something like that. It's just the rebuild value.
Yep, the rebuild value. That's exactly it. Sometimes when... what we just sort of spoke about was that most people actually guess what their house is worth. So when you're guessing it, you're trying to... People actually don't estimate it correctly, so you don't want to be guessing. You want to actually have a proper person come in and review it. So not a builder's report, you need probably like maybe a property valuer's report or a quantity surveyor's report, and they're more accurate as understanding what the reasonable cost it is to rebuild your property in today's market.
Are you telling me, in your experience and for yourself, Andrew, as well, a lot of people actually do that? They'll just go, oh, yeah, I believe that it's worth, without even doing due diligence after going through that whole process of getting into a home?
Correct, they do. So there's studies that are out there that at least 80% of people will guess their insurance in their property.
I'd like to get both of your comments. Why?
Yeah, I think there's so much information, and so there's an emotional process that people are going through when they're finally buying a home. And it's one of these things like they just accept whatever the bank's going to give them. So the bank salesperson or insurance salesperson just gives them the policy, and going through that emotional roller coaster, etc. They just want to get everything signed off and get into the home. But as Fraser points out, we've got to take a step back and use a professional like a broker. And not too many people would use a broker when it comes to general and contents insurance. And it's more about the things that are not in your policy. You know, that when there is a fire or an earthquake or something like that, getting your house rebuilt, but also covering things like accommodation, like where you're going to live while your house gets rebuilt. It's going to take 12 or 18 months to get that house rebuilt. Have you got enough benefits or cover to house your family while that process is happening? You know, so it's little things like that. You know, most banks would offer, you know, roughly the same standard policies, but it's little benefits and policy wordings, which is vital to making sure that when things do happen, that you're fully covered. And it's about engaging professionals like Fraser, you know, independent brokers who can shop around and get that policy wording or getting those policies that best suit you in that situation.
Fraser, let's move into chattels now. Insurance. You know, can you tell us a bit more about that and the importance of getting, you know, everything inside and maybe outside the house, like cars and that as well, you know, insured?
Yeah, look, if you're when you're evaluating your contents, you really want to go room by room, and you want to understand that whatever's in each room, can you replace that that item with the level of cover that you've got? You'll find that most people haven't really done that. They'll probably think, oh, yeah, look, I can replace my TV easy enough. But what insurance industry studies have also found is that most households don't have more than $1,000 extra savings available to be able to spend on items like that. So you probably want to ensure that when you go through and evaluate all of your contents in your house, that you've got enough. And it goes just so far as to clothing. You know, sometimes when you look at what's in your house, your bedding, your all your appliances and stuff like that, your amounts can be spent up quite quickly.
When we're going over those types of insurance as well, would you recommend, you know, when you're purchasing a home, like mortgage insurance and life insurance as well?
Correct, you do. It's probably one of the most unthought of things is insure yourself. It's not. There's not a lot of people that have like health and life insurance, and then you've also got to look at income protection where you've got your mortgage loan, because you never know what can happen tomorrow. You know, the company that you work for could be bought out by another and then closed down, or anything like that, or you can lose your work, and so you really need that cover to step in at the time of need.
Can I ask, you know, of all the things that you can insure, what are maybe some things off the top of your head, either of you, that can't be insured when we're looking at a house or contents maybe?
I'm just thinking about maintenance, you know, like maintaining your property as well. So that's an important aspect as well. So, you know, if it's causing mold or leak or leads to a leak and that kind of stuff, that's something that really won't be covered when it comes time to. So maintenance is important when you cover a home.
Yeah, I think that's the major one is wear and tear on your property or on any of your property. It's not covered by insurance, but that's, I guess, where you get I guess your financial planners and that to help you understand what your budget's like for you now and in the future, and how much you need to be able to put away in those savings opportunities as well, just to make sure that if you do get a leak in your property, how you can do that. I mean, some things are covered by your policy, but yeah, definitely wear and tear. That's probably one where people don't understand that too well. But I guess that's what an advisor's for as well, just to lead you through that process.
And finally, gentlemen, some final tips or main things to take away regarding insurance for your home and contents?
My thing is definitely, work with an advisor over going direct if there's a main concern for you. One is that they can do anything for your budget and make sure that suits, but they can also make sure that you've got the correct amount of cover for your property as well, because you don't want to be caught out at the last minute where, you know, you're battling with the insurance company for, you know, extra money when you know that it's going to cost more to rebuild your property. The only thing is that you sign a contract and that contract states one specific number, so get that number right.
Yeah, for me, just making sure that you understand what you're not covered for and what you are covered for, and that, you know, some of these benefits that you probably didn't realize that you could access by using a broker, are available to you. So always try to use an advisor that knows these benefits and policy wordings inside out, because most of us haven't got the time and day to go through every single policy wording and understand what the law is around all these ins and outs. So it's better to use someone who specializes in that area. So totally recommend someone like Fraser, or as he said, get in touch and get them involved in the process when you're making probably one of the biggest financial purchases in your life.
Awesome. Well, a very big thank you. Firstly, Fraser Watene from Kaitiaki Insurance Brokers. And before you go, Fraser, which iwi are you representing this morning?
Tainui.
Okay. had to be. Okay, then. Well, a very big thank you. And, of course, this is our final week for this round of Home Ownership Pathway Series. We're going to be doing it again leading up, early next year. On that note, a very big thank you, Andrew Lovell, Managing Director of Home Ownership Pathway. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for the experts that you've brought in, over the 6 weeks, and really giving great knowledge and information to our listeners and viewers on Facebook, of course, and purchasing, when they're going on that pathway to purchasing their home. So thank you very much, gentlemen, and wishing you all the very best. And hey, it's we're near the end of the year, so very Merry Christmas to you both.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas in Māori. Merry Christmas.
Merry Kirihimete.
Oh, Merry Christmas. I'll just say Merry Christmas.
In Tongan.
Oh, I don't know yet.
Yet, because you're going to be taking language classes in the new year. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Okay, then, gentlemen, well, thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. It is 13 minutes to 8. Radio 531 PI, Bring Pacific people together.